So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Private Label Masters Facebook live stream. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these, close to 2 months, but I'm happy to be here today to answer you guys' questions, okay? So how this is going to work is I'm going to talk just a little bit briefly about what's going on in my business, and then we'll jump right into your questions. So if you're watching this, you just tuned in, make sure to start firing your questions. No question is a dumb question. I remember when I was a brand new seller and I felt a little embarrassed sometimes to say like, hey, what does BSR even mean? Or what does this acronym mean? If you have questions like that, don't feel embarrassed. Go ahead and fire them in the chat and I'll get to them, and I'll treat you the exact same way I would treat someone who's been selling on Amazon for years. If you're a more advanced seller and you have some advanced questions, go ahead and fire those in there. I'll do my best to answer those too. So, before we get started, here we go. And I don't know how to pronounce your name about the restricted ingredient, but I see your question as you have posted it 7 times now, all right? So, here are the sales right now. We are at, see if we can focus on here. We are at 844,000 and almost 15,000 for the day. And that's up from last year. So I'm pretty pumped because last year my sales were, so if it's basically the beginning of April, the end of March. And if you look here in the Facebook group, you will know that I posted my tax document from Amazon, and you'll see that in my, here, I'll pull it up real quick. So I'm at 844,000 right now. Within my tax document that Amazon sent me, last March I did 495,000. So just when I didn't think I could like explode it anymore, it's almost twice as much. So let me see that real quick. So I just showed you a snapshot of 844,000 for the last 30 days. And here is what you can see here. March was 495,000. So well on my way to another fantastic year. And my personal goal is to pass the $10 million mark. Which I think I'll probably hit around 12 million, but we'll see. So what's new in Amazon? Not too much. A lot of rinsing and repeating. For anybody who has, so recently Amazon just notified everyone that you can start applying for Prime Day deals. And if you don't know what Prime Day is, it's basically the biggest sales day of the year. On any website and on Amazon. It's like their Black Friday. I had a YouTube video that I posted last year on last Prime Day, and I did I think over $200,000 in one single day, and that was Prime Day. So that gives you a little mindset of how crazy Prime Day can be. Now, in addition to this, that's funny, Joey. In addition to this, you can sign up for a Prime Day deal, which is basically a lightning deal on Prime Day, and the price ranges from $350 to $500, and you can get a window from 1 hour to up to 24 hours, but typically it's going to be 6 hours. Now, a few tips on the lightning deals on Prime Day deals. Okay, I'm going to tell you a couple tips real quick. And you can do this whenever you have a lightning deal. Here's a tip for you guys. When you have a lightning deal, make sure to go on a deal website like slickdeals.com. Okay, that's a big deal website. And you can post a link as like an anonymous person saying like, hey, I found this great deal. Here it is. And you can post a link and you can say the normal price and you can say the lightning deal price. I did that one time and I got an extra 1,000 sales or so from doing that, because if your deal can catch fire on slickdeals.net, you're going to do a whole bunch of sales, okay? So there's a tip for you, okay? If you go on slickdeals.net, you want to create an account, create an account early on, because you can't just start posting on that website right away. So sign up there, make sure to like, comment on a few other ones, then you can start posting right away. Another one's called fatwallet.com, okay? And inside of Slick Deals, you want to go into forums at the top, then hot deals, and then you can see how other people post Amazon sales they find. And basically how that website works is it's just thousands of people who are out there trying to find killer deals, and then post it on there so that people can thumbs up the deals, and then everyone gets a good deal, okay? And what's nice is everyone trusts Amazon. So if you got some good reviews and you're offering at a good discounted price, you can go in there, post it in Slick Deals or Fat Wallet. You can try to go on Fiverr or something and ask some of these guys to thumbs up it, because when they thumbs up it, it will attract more people, as that's like social proof. And next thing you know, you could catch some fire, okay? So there's a little tip for lightning deals and also Prime Day. If you have a lightning deal on Prime Day, post it on one of those deal sites. It's free of charge, and you could get an army. If you get a few people giving that thumbs up and continue to comment on it, there you go. It's Sleeking Deals. Sorry, it's Slick Deals, like Slick, S-L-I-C-K, slickdeals.net. and Fat Wallet. Okay, slickdeals.net's the good one though. There's a lot of these different little deal websites out there, but they typically always get their deals from slickdeals.net and just repost it. So there you go. There is a Tim tip to start the day for lightning deals and also Prime Day deals. So go ahead and fire your guys' questions. Besides that update, I know for myself, so like if you have a product you got to ship by sea, make sure to get that in production soon. So if you want to make sure you have a little extra inventory on Prime Day. Now, I for myself have seen my sales go up to approximately 2x to 3x on some products, and some products they didn't really do anything. Someone just told me Fat Wallet's gone. Oh yeah, I guess it is gone. Well, that stinks. So just slickdeals.net then. Fat Wallet used to be the guy too. So just slickdeals.net. Beyond that, so I have some products that do well in the summer, so I'm loading up right now. And then what I'm planning on doing is July and August is when I will start ordering for Q4. So just so you can get in the mindset of what a larger seller is doing, that's what I'm doing is already planning out my orders. So it's nice that Chinese New Year is behind me, but it's still always kind of like a cash flow crunch, no matter if you're a small seller or a large seller. All right, so I'm going to jump in these questions real quick. I know you guys have been waiting a while, so if you have questions, go ahead and fire them in, and I'll do my best at answering. All right, so the first question, I like this one. What is on your ceiling fan? So you see my ceiling fan right there? It's got like it got a cloud. No, it's not because I want to feel like I'm outside. My wife had like a, what was it, like a baby shower or a wedding shower? I don't know, one of those types of things. And so she's putting all these crazy decorations up. So this was actually quite a few weeks ago. And the lighting is like really harsh. And when she put those up, when I flick on that light, it's like dims it. So I'm like, you know what? Cool, let's keep a cloud in here. And it serves two purposes. It dims the light. So that's what that is. Could that be a good potential PL product? You never know. Check it out. Let's see what we got here. Tim, thank you there. You're welcome, Juan. I want to ask you, what was your initial investment when you started FBA? Love from South America. So my first product, which was almost 3 years ago, I started middle of April of 2016. I ordered 5,000 units, and I think it was around $10,000. Okay, and I tell this to a lot of people. People are like, man, Tim, how did you start out with like X amount of money? And it's because I was not living paycheck to paycheck, as many do, the large majority. If that's you, listen to this real quick. All right, I was not living paycheck to paycheck. I was living within my means, right? And sometimes below my means. And I was continuing to save and build capital, right? Because I knew when an opportunity came up that I would be able to jump on it and go full force. And so when I finally learned about private label, I had built up quite a bit of capital and I was able to really give it a go. All right. So if you're in the mindset or in the lifestyle of living paycheck to paycheck, I have a video on my YouTube channel which talks about building capital for a private label. And in there, I talk about having like a side hustle, like maybe doing some Uber, some Lyft. You never know. Anything, you can go on Craigslist and find random labor jobs, right? If you're ready to kill it and you really want to do this thing, you can find a way to hustle your butt off to get a little extra capital, right? So that's my story, and that's where I got started. I didn't have some prestigious job before private label. I had less than 6 months college education ever. I used to sell real estate, and beyond that, I worked at like Costco, and then I was doing like online arbitrage and retail arbitrage before I found out about private label. So remember, if you don't have very much capital now, it doesn't mean you cannot get into private label. I remember when I first started looking into private label, the process takes a while, the learning process takes a while, and also it takes a while to get the capital to really make a go of it. I felt like everything was passing me by. I was seeing all these success stories and like, wow, all these people are doing great. But, I don't even have a product yet. I'm still trying to figure out this thing. And I think the whole thing is passing me by. I will tell you right now, there is plenty on Amazon for every single one in this group to have successful products and for none of us to even compete with each other. Amazon is going to be like in every country. They're taking over the world. So don't feel like you're missing the boat if you haven't started yet. Make sure to set out a plan. Start building some capital, find ways to spend less, side hustle or something, or overtime to make more, and then continue taking in knowledge, whether that's with a course or on YouTube or just asking questions in Facebook groups. And that way, eventually, you'll be able to like hit the ground running, okay? Jay, you got sick of the cha-ching sound. Oh, man. I don't ever get sick of that. I just turn it down a little bit. All right, so Joey, usually at work when I do the live streams. This one's early enough. Okay, so I'll try to do some live streams earlier, Joey. All right, so I can't pronounce a name, and you asked your question about 7 times. I've listed my first product. Soon after, got an email regarding removal for restricted ingredient. My product doesn't contain that ingredient, and many sellers out there for almost the same product. What can I do? This is a great question. What I'm going to have you do is, I'm going to have you tag one of my mods, all right? I want you to PM one of my mods, and we might be able to help you out with that, okay? I'll go in after this live stream, and I'll click on your name, and I might have a solution for you on that. Steven, you want to grow up to be like me. Stephanie. But basically, you have to contact Amazon and write out basically like a letter to them explaining what the situation is, and you got to make sure you go through the right channels. Okay, so Stephanie is from Detroit. What up, Detroit? Let me see here. All right, Dan. Dan says, what's your opinion of using chatbots to drive sales via Facebook? I talked on this a little bit in the last live stream that I did. I think chatbots, they have their place, right? I don't think you need to get like too caught up with like, hey, I need to be the most skilled chatbot person in the world. Ranking, remember, is just one aspect. When it comes to driving sales, like if you're trying to get full price sales, it's very, very difficult to get full price sales from anywhere, especially even Facebook. You're talking about typically somewhat cold traffic, and it's not like they were going on Facebook looking for your product. So trying to get a full price sale from those guys, it's tough and can be costly. I don't really market to Facebook for full price sales, or using chatbots for that. Now chatbots, they are helpful for creating an audience, which you can then remarket to. So let's say you have, let me get a good idea. Let's say let's say you have like a baby blanket, okay? You have your pattern of your baby blanket. Well, you can create a Facebook ad and set up the ManyChat bot, and then whenever someone opts into that, next time when you come out with a new pattern of your baby blanket, instead of you having to put up a new Facebook ad in order to try to drive a bunch of leads, every single person who opted in for your first one, who you have now on your chatbot list, you can just send a message to all of them and say, hey, here's the new pattern, 50% off. And the open rates for Facebook Messenger are huge compared to email. So that's a big thing. And you never know, like, who knows what having a gigantic list of people in your ManyChat could work out and help you in the long run. But that's what I've seen. Remember, ranking is only one aspect, and there's tons of different ways. I launched 95% of my products over the years without ManyChat. So that goes to say, is it required? No. If you find it to be complicated, work on it at a later time. And also, if you haven't had a product up yet, don't waste your time on ManyChat. Brad Buchanan, how much is your course? I talked about this in the last live stream. I'm only taking select students now. So if you're interested in finding out if you qualify, and then I can tell you a little bit more about it and the price of what it costs to work with me, go ahead and go to privatelabelmasters.com and watch the video, fill out the survey about yourself, and then we'll be in touch, okay? Osama, and by the way, anybody who just joined the chat, make sure to ask your questions. I'm going to try to burn through as much as these can in about an hour, okay? What is your criteria to choose future products? So my criteria to choose future products is a little bit different now than it was in the past. Now I actually have a few established brands. So sometimes I'll see a product that I'm like, oh man, I really want to go after that. But I have to choose between going after a product that just looks great or going after products that may not make as much money, but they build my brand. So I'm more focused on products that build my brand. And that would include, when I'm looking at my products, I like to look in the sponsored products related to section underneath, frequently bought together, or related products, and start clicking on those, because those are products that people are kind of like looking at and buying in conjunction with looking at my product and buying. And so I would really try to focus on those ones and see how I can provide some extra value to that. Of course, I want a lower BSR, and I also want social proof that people actually want the product. I'm not interested right now in trying to like reinvent the wheel. I'm all about finding out what's working and then doing it a little better than everyone else, and then really pushing it, okay? Alexandru says, about dirty competitors, how to fight them, please. It's tough. You know, Amazon is like any other marketplace. You're going to have competitors who are okay, and you're going to have dirty competitors, and you're going to have like all sorts of crazy things happen. Hijackers. The best thing you can do is make sure you play by the rules, report those dirty competitors, and you know, if somebody leaves you bad reviews, make sure to respond to them. I have a YouTube video that talks about negative product reviews and how to respond to them. And I know a lot of Amazon sellers, and I'm a large Amazon seller. And, you know, the whole like really bad, dirty competitors, it's not as prevalent in like the regular categories. Like if you're in supplements or things like that, it's a little more cutthroat. I don't sell in supplements, all right? So I don't have to deal with too many of these sharks. But that's the best thing you can do is keep doing what's right and reporting anything you can. And if you see someone doing some dirty things on their listing, report them. I talk to people who are like, you know what, I don't report others because I don't want to put that into the atmosphere. I'm like, forget that. If somebody is breaking terms of service and they're getting an unfair competitive advantage, report those people. That's why it's there for. They're basically, view those people as taking your kids' lunch money. Will you report them now? Well, you should always report them, right? Vadim says, how to get ranking back after stock out. Heard it's super hard. Vadim, don't worry too much about that. typically you're gonna rank the exact same way you got there in the first place. So whether that's with PPC or doing a keyword boost, or sometimes you just have to lower your price a little bit, and next thing you know, you're back to where you started at. So right when your product comes in, see the lay of the land, okay? How far did you drop? Are you on third page? If you're on third page, then you're likely going to have to do some type of giveaway or something, or run some PPC or lower your price even, and that's how you're going to get back there. Okay, but if you're like halfway down front page, just give it a couple days and see if people will start to buy yours again and get you back up. All right. John Hamill, why do you have 2 seller accounts? Great question, John. I have 2 seller accounts because I was planning on selling one of my brands. I'm still thinking about it. And if you like any of these answers to any of these comments or questions, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. That'll encourage me to come in this the Big Public Facebook group to do a little more of these live streams. So I have 2 seller accounts because I was planning on selling one of my brands. And if you go to any of the websites where you can sell an Amazon listing, not an Amazon account, most of the people who are looking to buy are looking to take over an account. A lot of them are not sellers themselves. So when I talk to the different companies that will sell an Amazon account or a brand or something like that, they said, we got a lot of people who just want turnkey businesses. They just want to take over the seller account. Well, I have 5 brands and I didn't want to sell the whole account. So they told me to create a second account, move the one brand to that account, and start building that account up. And then once I build that account up with good seller feedback, then it'll be super easy to sell. All right, and just let the new buyer just take it over. I prefer to have it on one account. I like having the big screenshots of the sales, but it also just makes it easier for me to go in, one PPC screen, one campaign manager, and just like go through it, right? When you start having separate accounts, you got to start like having logins. Like let's say you have a profit loss tool or something, you have to start connecting them typically to multiple accounts, and so that drives up your fees, and it's just kind of a pain. Also, if you're trying to combine shipments, if you have all of your brands like on separate accounts and you want to do one shipment where they're all together, it's a little tough to get them all to go to the same place. Whereas since I have a bunch of my brands on one account, I can create a shipping plan for tons of products that are in the same port area, and they'll all go to relatively the same destinations. All right, let's keep cruising here. Why did Amazon change the 7 pages of searches? If I knew that, I'd be a genius. I'm not too sure. I actually recently saw that when I was looking for, I had about 10 new products show up in the last week, and I'm currently doing a launch for 3 of them. And I was noticing that I was clicking on like really, really far back, and it's like, oh, you can't search farther back than this. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So I'm not too sure. Maybe they only want the best for customers to see. I'm trying to see if it's still only allowing 7. That's what it's showing up on my screen too. That's some slick advice. I like that. Cecilia, hey Tim, so many live streams, you're spoiling us. I'm spoiling you guys because you guys are in my VIP student group. And so I've done what? This will be like 4th in the last week. Can you show an example of what you interpret as the perfect listing? Let's see if I can find a good listing. The perfect listing. Let me see here. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that. Perfect listing. The perfect listing has amazing bullets, has a good title, has a great main image that fills up the entire space, Has some infographic pictures, lifestyle pictures, a great description, enhanced brand content, a video, and their copy emotionally connects to you. Not just like the features, but their copy or their bullets, it like is pulling at your heartstrings. All right. My wife likes watching this show called This Is Us, and it's like this emotional show. I want people to click on my listing and feel that type of emotion and be like, I just have to watch the next episode. I just have to buy this. All right, that's what it looks like. Yeah, I'll have to find one and post it in the group. Let's see here. Gustavo says, thanks so much. Can you tell your perspective? What's the best day and best time to make a lightning deal? So I have found the best lightning deals start from like 7 a.m. onward. Okay, once you start getting afternoon, evenings, it doesn't do as well. You would think that people are home from work, and so they're going to be like all in the buying mood. They're at their computer, but no, it seems like people are like more on their devices and things like that, like in the morning and during the day. If you're a typical, I mean, if you have quite a few products, you'll know that the weekends, nothing much happens as much. Typically, for my account at least, it's a lot less, like a third less. Right when Monday comes rolling along in the morning, I wake up and I check my profit loss tool and I'm getting sales out the wazoo. So I like weekday lightning deals that start around 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And that hits both East Coast and West Coast at good times. Okay, now on Prime Day last year, Prime Day started at 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. And so on that day, the best time to have a lightning deal was at 12 p.m. because that's when everyone's like, when's the deal? When's the deal? Anything before 12, they didn't think was part of Prime Day. So it varies. Jeremiah asked, my product is not showing up for lightning deals. It meets all the requirements. Why is this? So it's funny you would say that because it clearly is not hitting all the requirements, unfortunately. Lightning deals are all like algorithm. Like I just said I had two accounts. When I had that brand on my big account, I was getting lightning deals all the time. I have moved that brand to the other account, and that brand is doing over $100,000 a month. I'm still not getting lightning deals. So I don't know what the magic number is or the magic criteria is. It might be an account-wide thing. I'm not too sure, but I really don't know. There used to be like an email that you could email like a department that kind of dealt with lightning deals. I do not have that email on me. But yeah, it's kind of like a waiting game. All right. Let's see here. Johnson says, if you were starting a new brand, what would your launch strategy be? So if I'm starting a new brand, I would do one of two things. I would either straight up start with PPC, wait till I get around 100 sales, create a lookalike audience within Facebook, and then do a Facebook launch, or I would use a launch service. That is what I would do. Oscar, have you noticed any changes in the algo lately? I have a product coming back in stock with 0 units. 0 available units currently in FC transfer. I am fully indexed but nowhere in search. I remember in the past I was at least showing in search and customers were able to pre-order. It seems to have changed now. You know, I actually have a product that kind of has some funky things going on recently in search. None of the other ones are, so I can't say, but it's another one of these products like yours that says like available in 5 days maybe, because that's usually what it says when it's an FC transfer, is like your product or a person can buy it and on the listing it says available in 6 days, or you know, April 10th, April 20th. So I have one listing like that, and I used to be ranked like number 3 for some giant keywords, and now it's ranked like I can hardly even find it. I'm not sure what happened. But what I've noticed is like, and here's something I will tell you, is Amazon, great Amazon sellers, one of the key skills they have is problem solving. Amazon is filled with small problems and large problems. And if you are good at being able to see the problem, pivot, and find a way to find a solution and not lose your mind and pull your hair out, you're going to be a great Amazon seller. So for my listing, for example, that used to be ranked number 2 or 3 for some giant keywords and I can't find it, I don't even care. You know why? Because I'm going to come back. I'm going to find a way. For the rest of my listings, everything's fine. Nothing has changed in search. The only thing with that one product is it does say, like when I click on the listing manually, it says like available like April 14th or something. So I'm waiting, and you should wait too, for when that's fully available to see if your keyword rankings come back. And if they don't, then all you got to do is start running some sales to it, and you'll get your indexation back. Let's see here. Again, if you're just joining, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. And if you have some questions, go ahead and fire them away. Masij says, what is the best tool to do product research? I like Viral Launch and Jungle Scout. Helium 10's getting in the game too. I like the other two because I've used them more. In fact, I used to use Jungle Scout only, and then I started moving also to Viral Launch. I've checked out Helium 10 a bit. Helium 10 makes my computer lag, so I don't really like using that. But the main thing you're focused on is looking at BSR. That's the biggest thing with all of these is BSR and estimated sales, and that should give you enough info to really start making some decisions. Marcin says, Tim, how aggressively go with the discounts? How big discount vouchers and how many items during first launch? So what I like to do is if I'm doing Facebook ads, I'm going to make 3 different promo codes. All right, I'm going to make a 50% off, I'm going to make a 75% off, and then I'm going to make a 90% off. Okay, so I will start the Facebook ads for my product on the discounted giveaway with 50% off codes. I'm going to see, hey, do the people take it? Do they think that's a good enough discount or not? I give that 1 or 2 days. If they're not biting on that, then I go into plan B, 75% off promos. I switch up the ad, see what that starts doing. And if those still aren't going, 90% off, and let's do this thing. So I have like a tiered system, and that's what I recommend for you too. Sudeep. All right, Sudeep, I'm going to message you, or you can message me. Gustavo, what do you think about variations of color for the same products? It's always worth? So if you want to test these things out and you want to find out if it's always worth it, some products are. Like let's say the sweater. Do people want this in pink? I don't know. I wanted it in green. Do people want it in blue? I'm not sure. Clothing or textile items, typically people like color variations. Other things, I'm not really sure. So I recommend to test it. And the way you do this is next time you put your next large order in, tell your supplier you'd like to order 50 of like 3 different other color variations. They'll typically do this for you because you're already doing a mass order. And then put those on your listing as variations. Same price, maybe a little higher. Could be an upsell. And you're going to get your info right there. I would not like say, hey, I think this thing's going to sell in neon pink, and so since I would buy it in neon pink, I'm going to buy 1,000 of them. I wouldn't do that. Test it first. Next, large order with your supplier for your main variation. Ask them for a couple other ones, a smaller order, and then you can test and go from there. So is it always worth it? Not always, but sometimes it can be very profitable. Ryan asks, do you use Alibaba to dropship your products? No, I don't. I don't do any drop shipping. I have done drop shipping in the past before I got into private label. Private label is way better though. But I do source my products. I source all of my products from Alibaba. There's a lot of people who say like, oh, you can't find products on Alibaba anymore. No way. I could find 20 products today on Alibaba, 30 if I really tried. And there are going to be plenty more there for you to find too. I love these guys who post their questions like 30 times thinking I'm going to skip it. How do you schedule your day running an Amazon business? So I could always use improvement on this. There's a book. It's called It is called, what is that book called? It's a Navy SEAL book. And basically the saying in there is, true freedom comes from discipline. And I have always been kind of like a carefree, do things when you want to do things, you know, like don't like being people like saying like, oh, I need this done, I need this done. I'm like, I will get to it, you know. I'm the person who's like, there's those people who are like, when the gas tank is running empty and they're freaking out, I'm like the guy like, I can go another 10 miles. I can drive another week. Or there's the event and it starts at 7. It's like 6:50 and I'm like, we got time. Nobody ever died from being a little bit late. So I've had to really work on this whole discipline thing. The book is called Extreme Ownership. It's a good book. And yeah, true freedom comes from discipline. When you are very scheduled, you can knock out a lot more stuff. And as you knock out a lot more stuff, it gives you more what? Free time. Okay? So, what I like to do is plan today, I'll write out a list on a notepad in my phone, the notes section, of all the different tasks I have to do. So, there will be things like, I have 2 employees now. Okay? I'll write out the things that I have to work with one employee on, another employee on. I have my training with my students, so I have a list there. And then I have my regular Amazon. And so I'll make a list of all the things, and then right when I wake up in the morning, I'll hop on the computer, I'll check to see if anything's burning down, which it never is, and then I'll start going down that list. And I'm the opposite. Most people are like, so there's 2 types of people I've seen. Some are like, have a hard time with motivation, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to get on the computer again and do some product research. I'm the opposite. Like I was doing product research 2 nights ago, and you can even ask Aurora. She's one of my employees. And I'm sitting there saying like, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. This makes me so excited to find this product and to search and look into it. So that's kind of me. So again, plan today. When I'm going to bed, I just pull out my phone, start making a list. And then right when I wake up in the morning, I start chipping those things away. Cecilia, in the last live stream, you said that it's not necessary to have multiple seller accounts. Would you recommend building a few different brands and selling all of them under 1 or 2 seller accounts? So, if like that's your goal, right? Is like exit strategy type thing. It might be like if you're like, I for sure am going to sell this brand in 2 years or in a year. That's my plan. Then go ahead and start it on a separate seller account. If you for sure want to sell all of them, then keep them all in the same one. I have no intent on selling my brands, just that one, because I was like, I'm not going to pursue this that much. It passed the 2-year mark, which is like the good mark in investors' eyes, like, oh, this has stood the test of time. So that's why I wanted to sell that one, because I wasn't going to add to it, and I can take all that cash flow from that and then just really infuse it into my other ones. But I don't know. I personally feel like if you want to do it all under one account, you're fine. And if you feel like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to sell this one, then you can create the second account then and then just move the one brand to it. It's just so much easier day to day to have one seller account. Let's see here. Again, if you guys are just joining in, go ahead and ask a question. I'll be on here at least another half hour. All right, Jim says, what's the average time it takes for the USPTO to approve a trademark? 8 to 10 months. And that's if you have no issues, right? So what I suggest to you is if you found a product and right when you get that thing started selling, and if it looks like it's going to have some legs, get the trademark in the pipeline. There's a lot of things that you can say like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go do XYZ today that I've been putting off, and you go do it. Well, a trademark is one of those things, you just got to start it, and there's no shortcut to it. So start it early if you're planning on continuing with the brand. Jafar says, what is the largest weight size of a product that you have ever sold? I've sold a product that is 45 pounds. The max is like 50 pounds. and it's a large, oversized product. Joe says, are you allowed to have 2 seller accounts without getting suspended? Yes, you are. You just have to contact seller support, ask them about getting a second seller account, and then they'll ask you the reasons. You have to have a good reason to get one. So a lot of times if you have like a different company or something, but remember, when you have your second seller account, you're going to need to have a different credit card, a different bank account, all on file. All right, so Andia says, so here's my current situation. I have a product that includes 4 different items. The majority of my competitors have 2 items. You recommend me to drop my price to break even, but don't think that if I lower my price below those competitors, the buyers will think the quality is lower. So India, there are some products that you should not drop the price on. Like if it's a health related product, let's say you have safety goggles, okay? People care about their eyes. They don't want to save $5 and lose their eyes. So really get in the mind of your buyer. Think of if you were the buyer. Is your product the type of product that people say, you know what, I need high quality of this? Or they say like, you know what, if I can get a bargain on this, I'm okay. And then you can base your decision off that. Second option is just to split test it. Use Splitly. That's what I recommend in my training. And split test the 2, your regular price and the lower price, and see if it has an impact. It'll tell you by impressions, conversions, sessions, total sales, everything. And that should give you your answer. To Vertco, if someone has a trademark registered in the same name you are trying to use but in a different category, will you try and register trademark for a different category or products? Yeah, sure, why not? I would try it. However, if you aren't too far in the process, I would just rethink of having, let me rephrase that. Let's say you are selling glass bottles, right? Glass bottles. And there is another company that has the same brand name as you, but they're selling automotive parts. Are you ever going to sell automotive parts? Probably not. So then I wouldn't care. But if you think really long about your brand and you think that potentially you might enter the same market that trademark is covering in that different class of products, then if you're in the beginning phases, I would just think at rebranding or making a different brand name so that in the long term, that's not really going to cause any issues. But if you don't think you're going to sell an automotive and you're selling glass bottles, then I wouldn't mind. I'd keep it. Jason, is there a way to show all your product variations on the same page? Right now, Amazon only shows the one variation, the best-selling one. Sadly, Jason, it's not the case. You can only the best-selling variation is what shows in search. So it's kind of tough. That's why I have a 1-hour video in my training. It's called Everything Variations, and it's from tons of testing that I've done about having different variations, why you would want different variations versus standalone listings, different things I've tried, all these types of things. And this is one of the reasons why some people decide to have, not all the variations on one listing is because you can only see the one. So sadly, there isn't. There are a few categories where actually every variation can show, but none of those I sell in. Ryan, what company do you use to dropship your pod products? I do not dropship. Constantine, any suggestions for how to change ownership of Seller Central from one person's name to another person's LLC? I would just message seller support and kind of tell them what you're trying to do and go from there. Jeremiah says, how do you move your one brand to your new account? Very simple. Is I placed an order on my new account, right? And I did a shipping plan on my new account. Once the products got in, I closed that listing. Then I waited for that same product to sell out on my current listing in my one seller account. Once it stopped selling, then I reactivated the listing on my new account. And then everything's been transferred over. I basically hijacked my own product, and then now that became the owner of it. And if you have enhanced brand content or a trademark, you can actually log in on the account where you started at and give permissions to another account to have access to all the brand registry stuff. So I did that too. Ralph, shipping by sea, is it cheaper to use a Chinese freight forwarder or US? Ooh, that varies. That varies. I've seen probably 80% the freight forwarders I use are cheaper than China. I still use a couple of my China suppliers freight forwarders though. Although recently I got a quote from a Chinese freight forwarder that was showing same prices as the one I typically use, but a lot faster shipping time, so I might test that. Oscar, have you ever thought about buying an affiliate authority website business with an audience and implementing an e-commerce side to it? Was listening to a podcast with someone who does this. Seems like a good opportunity for people with capital. Let me reread that. I've not, but that's an interesting concept. So one thing I've also noticed is like there is many different ways to make money. And what I highly recommend is finding one and getting really good at it, and then slowly branching out into other things if you can. I have no doubt in my mind that what you just said works well, and I could probably do it. But it would be learning a different kind of skill set slightly, and it would distract me from what I'm growing right now. But that does sound like a good idea. Like if I found an affiliate website business that had an audience for a product that I kind of sell, it could be. But what if it doesn't work, you know? I'm going to go with things that I know for sure work. Oriel says, do you use external traffic as part of your strategy to maintain good ranking with your strong products? I only do that sometimes, like if I notice a keyword slipping, or if there's some random long tail keywords I would like to rank higher because I see a competitor ranking for them. I will run some external traffic on Facebook targeting those keywords so I rank better for them. The more keywords that you can rank for, the more eyes on your product, the more sales you get, the more reviews you get, the more profit you make. The flywheel. All right, Richard. What are your tips for using ZonJump and almost done with launch and still only getting to the bottom of second page? I would make sure I would hit up their seller support. I would check out Helium 10 Cerebro, and I would see how many discounted sales do they recommend you having, and make sure that you're getting that many redemptions, not that many people getting your code, but that many actual sales. Sometimes if your listing has been around for a while, and let's say it was kind of a dud listing and you try to throw a ton of sales at it, it's not going to rank. Like Amazon's smarter than that nowadays. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to throw tons of discounted sales at this one product and then it's going to, kill it. So make sure by talking to ZonJump support and checking Helium 10 Cerebro to see how many giveaways they recommend, make sure that you're actually getting that many redemptions every single day and that you're done your launch for a minimum of 7 days. If it's still not working, you got to switch to another alternative method that doesn't require discounted sales, so just PPC or a low price. Sergey, thanks for sharing your knowledge. You're welcome. All right, Gustavo, is it worth it to make a lot of lightning deals for the same product and cancel the ones you don't want, or this could hurt your Amazon account? Gustavo, do that. That's what I do. I just set up every single lightning deal. Ones that don't look like they have good times, I'll cancel them. It does nothing. You don't get charged until the deal goes live. Ying Chen is in here. What's up, Ying? This one's a long one. Christian. Established manufacturer in China, goods being produced in their USA factory, won't accept all trade assurance and also PayPal goods and service invoice, as they are saying they have to wait for another 28 days. They will accept deposit via PayPal, but sending it as a friends and family. Is this too many red flags? I want them to sign a contract before payment, and they're okay with that. What would you do? That's a lot of red flags, my friend. I would never send somebody money, friends and family, for a business transaction. Why not just say, hey, here are the fees. If I send you on PayPal, I will cover the fees. Do that, and that provides you some insurance. I would not, unless it's a supplier you've been working with a long time, I would not do a transaction outside of Ollie Trade Assurance. Direct wire only, I just wouldn't do it. And definitely not friends and family. That's too sketchy. So find out, I would say, hey, how about this? I see that it's difficult for you to accept this because I gotta pay, you gotta pay more or something. The money's held. What if I pay you a little bit more? And then see what you can do. But yeah, don't get greedy and don't try to just push something. If you get those, if you get the bad feels for it, I would move along. It's tough to do though. Vivian, what's up, Vivian? Hello, Tim, another live. Love it. I have a question about when is the timing to add variations for products, what are the criteria used to indicate it's time to add a variation, break even on the initial product, making a little profit, how much cash flow do you usually have for each variation, how much cash flow should I have if I want to launch multiple variations for the end of the year? Woo! Vivian, loaded questions, but these are good. Let me see if I can fire through them. And Vivian, if you ask these in the live stream in the VIP group, I'll go into even more depth, okay? Or just post it in there. Let me break it down. What criteria do I use to indicate it's time to add a variation? Breaking on the initial product or making a little profit. What I would do if I was starting out, I would make sure that the one variation is ranked and looking like it's going to have consistent sales, right? Even if it's breaking even, because over time you'll probably be able to raise the price. And I would add variations. You know, if that one looks like it's going to be steady and breaking even and maybe even profiting, I would start adding variations right away. A lot of times you can find good variations that you already know would be a decent seller, but you weren't too sure about. And then there's other types of variations that are kind of like a shot in the dark, okay? So the shot in the dark ones, don't order too many. You might find a winner. The other ones, those ones I'm willing to go a little further, that I'm pretty sure those are gonna sell. How much cash flow do you usually have for each variation? So I look to see very few times will you have a second variation that'll do better than the one that's usually selling really well. Sometimes it happens, but typically the one you source first is the one that the market's already told you is going to be good. Sometimes you'll find another one that does better. In that case, if it's doing better, I'd probably split those up. How much cash flow do I have for each variation? That's a good question. I like to use just Jungle Scout or Viral Launch and to see what kind of sales it's already doing. If when I do the test, okay, it goes well, then I'm willing to like throw more at it. These are kind of like really rough questions because every product sells different, as you know, more velocity, less sales velocity. And so setting like a specific amount of cash flow just for each variation, I don't really work like that. I'm kind of like, if I have my one, let's say I have my one bottle, right? And then one variation would be a 5-pack and a 10-pack, okay? I would have, like 80% of my money going to the 1-pack, which I know sells well. Then I'd have a small portion for the 5-pack or whatever I said, and then the 10-pack. And then based on those results is when I'll start like allotting more money for it. It's kind of tough though. It's like any regular product. When you launch a new product, especially if there's a ton of information on it, you can kind of get an idea of like what kind of cash flow perhaps. But when it comes to variations that you haven't tried before, it's kind of like a shot in the dark. So I like to just enough that I'm like, okay, can I break even on this variation? It's not like 1,000 of them, maybe 100. Could I break even on them just by maybe doing buy the main one and get 50% off the second one if I just had to clear it out? Am I comfortable with that amount? If I am, okay, I'll try it. And then as it starts to sell, you'll start to get an idea of, okay, it's selling X amount per day, so then my reorder, that's when I can really put some funds into it. Matthew Turner, why are you so cool? I don't get it. Hey, I think a lot of people would disagree with you on that one. I'm just a regular guy, man. Alexandru, Amazon seller support just doesn't speak English. They also keep transferring me from a department to another. Passing the bill. What should I do? Keep calling. And keep calling. That's the only thing. Call at different times of the day, too. sometimes when you call it different times of the day, you'll get different places that speak a little better English. Kareem, Tim, do you intend to publish your own book? I have had a book idea for many years. Because private label hasn't been my first entrepreneurial type endeavor, I've done quite a few things. And I would love to write a book about all the different things and then all the different crazy ideas that I had and how to make them work. That I kind of moved on until I found private label, which is like the cream of the cream. But I have thought about that. I don't know. I actually called up a publisher one time. I was like, is there a way that I can just like hang out with you and you interview me for like 12 hours straight and I tell you every crazy story that I can think of that I've done entrepreneurial wise and you can help me kind of like ghostwrite this thing? It's just a thought. Why would you buy the book? Hyro, what is your thoughts on AMZ Scout versus Jungle Scout? Well, first off, there's 2 scouts. We only have right? I don't mess with AMZ Scout. I only use Jungle Scout or Viral Launch. Just think about it. Greg Mercer is the OG. He is the original gangster for private label. He is the king. He is the godfather, all right? Every single one of us owes a lot to Greg Mercer. If Greg Mercer puts out Jungle Scout, I'm riding with Greg Mercer. Okay, that dude is smart. I don't know who made AMZ Scout. They're probably smart too. They're kind of jacking his whole Scout thing. But if I was a betting man, I would bet my money on Jungle Scout. I'll just say this. I've never used AMZ Scout. I've used Jungle Scout for many years. And it's helped me get the right data to get to where I'm at. So, Greg Mercer, the OG. I actually want to... I'm really thankful for Greg Mercer because of what he did. I know there are people who have told me, like, you did it yourself. Like, you shouldn't thank somebody who made a tool. And I'm like, no. Well, the day I meet Greg Mercer, I shake that man's hand. And if he allows me to give him a hug, maybe just a bro hug, I'm going in. Because that guy, whew. I want to make a video called The Ode to Greg Mercer, saying thank you. Sergey. Man, we're flying. This is 1 hour in. When you recommend to watch the BSR, you mean not numbers, but it's stability, right? I recommend looking at both. BSR is going to tell you the velocity it's selling at, and the stability shows you like if there's any big jumps or drops. And then, if it's seasonal or whatever, keep an eye on that. Chris, are you going to Chipotle to celebrate National Burrito Day? Now, Chris, if you were watching in your email, National Burrito Day at Chipotle is offering free delivery. So, do I want to take out 20 minutes of my day driving there and getting that burrito? Or do I want to sit back, talk to you guys for an extra half hour and have that burrito delivered? But yes, I plan on having a good day at Chipotle somehow. Birkin, which URL is most effective to keywords to rank on Facebook ads? Just go to Helium 10 Gens. I like the field ASIN. That's the one I like. Thomas, how do you find source? All right, if you're just joining in to the group, to the chat, hit that thumbs up button. And I'm just going to say this real quick. I haven't talked about this. My training is no longer open enrollment. That's why you don't see any page. You can just go and click and buy on it. I am only taking specific people into my training. If you want to learn from an $8 million plus, soon to be $10 to $12 million plus per year seller, know all my contacts, have live streams like this once a week minimum, and any other tips, make sure to check out privatelabelmasters.com. Watch the video, fill out the survey, and if you're a good fit, we'll be in touch, all right? Thomas says, how do you find source for products made in China? I have had a product that I sold on Amazon that is no longer available in the US. So in your case, you might want to talk to like a sourcing agent or a trading company to see if they can kind of help you find that product. But I always go to Alibaba, and it's all about finding the keywords. Remember, on Alibaba, these are Chinese suppliers putting these products up. And they're trying, we know what keywords we would put up for a product, but do we know which ones they would use because they have limited English skills sometimes? Try to think in their mind, and type in some general terms that relate to your product, and you might be able to find it easier. Or talk to a supplier that has products in that kind of category, and then see if they can find it. Hi Tim, I have trouble negotiating. What's up, Ying? I have trouble negotiating with my supplier when I'm ordering more items, from 1,000 units to 2,000. Last time they agreed to lower it only 10 cents per product. Cost per unit is around $4. Only if I want to pay my whole order for wire transfer, since I always pay through trade assurance and Alibaba. I don't feel comfortable doing it, especially it's only 10 cent less. Do you ever use wire transfer for your orders? What's your advice in negotiating my situation? So changing from 1,000 to 2,000 units is not that huge of a profit for your supplier. I'll just be honest with you. If your product only costs around $4, 10 cents is, it's a decent drop. What is that? I don't know, almost 3%, 2.5%. So 10 cents is pretty good in your situation. Hopefully in the future you're going to be able to order like 5,000 at a time. I do work with a few suppliers who I'm comfortable with, and just do direct wire transfers with them outside of Alibaba. Now these are ones that I've ordered quite a few times with. There's other ones, but I always prefer to do in Alibaba. What I would recommend for you, Ying, is I would go on Alibaba and find competitors and say, hey, I'm a big Amazon seller. I'm looking at ordering mass, around 2,000 of these. Can you give me your price? And use those against your current supplier and see if you can get a better deal. So that's kind of what I would recommend. Sorry that you're having a tough time with that. But yeah, try to look for other suppliers, even if you're not going to use them. Get a quote from them. Tell them, a lot of times when you go and talk to them, they're going to say, what's your target price? So what you want your price to be to negotiate with your current supplier, put that as your target price and say, this is what I need. If you want a business, this is what I need. Can you do that? Talk to your manager right now. I already place orders. I already do X amount. Can you do that? So, and then try to use that. You're really going to have to just feel like, what does your gut feel with your current supplier? You can also do the deposit, right, outside, and have an inspector go in a few times to make sure they're producing everything. And that can kind of like ease your mind a little bit. Man, Jeremiah, you asked that question 30 times, bro. Is it a problem if you use the same supplier to source your product as a PL product which has registered a trademark on Amazon and sell the same product but branded with your brand? You're just gonna have to see if they have a patent, like a design patent or a utility patent. But like, there's a lot of people sell water bottles and this brand is trademarked, GTs, right? But I could still sell a water bottle and put my brand. Look for patents. Go to Google Patents. Ralph, newbie question. I see the term hijacking. What does that mean? Term hijacking means somebody else jumping onto your listing and selling on it. Now, typically, in private label, hijacking is really bad. A lot of times people will jump on there and be selling a different product or a counterfeit version of your product. But sometimes you sell a bunch of an item and someone's like, they bought like 5 of them and they're like, you know what, I'm not going to use this item. I'm going to resell it back on the listing. And they'll actually go on and resell it. There's nothing wrong with that. They're actually selling the same product. That's what hijacking means. Richard, if you're in the middle of a launch and the giveaway are not getting you to page 1 and PPC is not getting a ton of impressions, what would your next step to troubleshoot the issues? My next step would be to go crazy, lower your price very low, and look and try to get those people who will sort by lowest price. But lower your price and keep PPC going, and eventually you'll find it might cost you some, but you'll find where it is that people will start buying your item. Klaus says, if 3 sellers are selling almost the same product and I don't know any good ways to make the product better, their listings are really bad, they have like 3 bullets and 1 picture, should I go and sell the almost same thing with a killer listing? Every one of those listings sells for over $10,000 a month. Yeah, I mean, I talk about having a unique selling point. Your listing can be one, but realize that someone else can come in there and make a nice listing too. But yeah, you know, I have done a product like that where I couldn't find anything better to do with it. I mean, better to add value in some way, and I just made a really good listing and it worked out fine. So I typically like to have products though that have some type of better value. But yeah, that could work definitely. Jeremiah, do super URLs work in 2019? Yes, they do. Rob Sands, another student. What's up? Hey, Tim. Hey, Rob. Maurice, is there a way you can get your Amazon store in front of Amazon traffic? In front of Amazon traffic. The only way you can do that is if you have sponsored brand products and you can land them to your landing page, or if you have access to AMS and you can have them click on your headline ad, then it'll go to your store. But not typically. Not within Amazon. Hi, Tim from Denmark. What is up, Denmark? Oscar, thanks for all your help. One of the best mentors out here. Since I learned best from my mistakes, what is the last failure you had in business? Hey, that's a good question. I like that. Because I do make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. My last mistake I made was not confirming with my supplier the size of the package that they were packaging up the items. I have a supplier that one of my competitors also gets their products from, and I said, hey, I want to offer this product too that they were, and I put the order in and everything, and then it got to Amazon, and then it was saying that I was like small oversized, and I was like, what's up with that? Like, my competitor's not small oversized. And then when I reached out to them, the supplier, and I said, hey, so what are the dimensions? And then she told me, I'm like, why are you using those dimensions? I ordered the exact same product as my competitor, who you also sourced, but then you changed the entire packaging, and now I'm in small oversized. So that was a pain. So make sure you confirm with your supplier the size of the package that your product is going in. And that is about a $7,000 mistake. But since the supplier said, like, you know what, I should have hidden that, they said over the next 7 orders they're going to knock off $1,000. So I'll get that money back, but it's a tough lesson to learn. Alexandru, Tim, how can I join your course? What's up, Alexandru? I talked about this a little bit. I'm not accepting, it's not open enrollment anymore. That's why you can't just go to a landing page and buy it. If you're interested in learning from me, go to www.privatelabelmasters.com. Click on the free case study, enter your information, watch the video, fill out the survey, and if you qualify, we'll talk about it, all right? I don't know anybody else who is selling themselves their own physical products, right? Not managing others' accounts or things like that, that is doing close to 8 to 10 million, who are willing to train people and teach them how to do what they do. I'm willing to do that, all right? But I'm only taking select students. So if that's you, make sure to check out the site. Patrick, how much revenue per month in a keyword product is ideal to avoid Chinese hijacker but maximize products? So there's no way to base off of sales velocity or keyword traffic to avoid Chinese hijackers. That's just part of the game. They come, they go, you pivot, you learn how to deal with them, you have a good cease and desist letter, and you know how to handle it. Go for products where you know you can make some money. Don't even worry about them. Don't even worry about Chinese hijackers or whatever. Go for a product that you can make money. And if you do get a Chinese hijacker or anybody hijacking, nothing against Chinese, you can just deal with it the way that everyone else deals with it. You send them a letter. They don't respond. You do a test buy. You report it to Amazon. You get them booted off. Thorsten, which program would you use if you had to use one? Helium 10, Jungle Scout. I would use Jungle Scout and Viral Launch. I use Helium 10 too, but not for product research so much. Paul, hi Tim, just tuning in. What GSM would you recommend for your product insert cards? Mine will be gloss cardstock. You know, I've been asked that question before. I do not know the GSM that I use. I just have them send me a picture of it and I have them like flick it, boom, boom. And if it's like thick material, I'm like, that's what I want right there. Don't give me none of this flimsy stuff. But I need to ask. I'll try to ask my suppliers the next time someone asks this question, because I've got this question twice now. I will respond. Ozma, hi. I launched first product and sales is unexpectedly too high. That's not a bad problem. I'm running low on stock. There's a gap of 15 days between stock finish and receiving shipment. Will this affect my ranking? So right when you sell out, close your listing, it might affect it a bit. But remember, did you have a ton of ranking when you first came out with your product? Probably not. And then all of a sudden, it started going crazy. Well, you're already going to have a head start when this comes back in 15 days. And you know the same thing's probably going to happen. Your sales going to go crazy. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. You might have some drop 2 weeks, a couple spots, nothing too drastic, but you'll be able to get it back right away, just the same way you ranked in the first place. Isahar, hi Tim. I added something to a product. Should I sell it as a variation or as the main product? I have to wait for the availability of units to be sold out to be able to do the marketing of the new feature. I would start it as a variation, and if it starts getting a ton of sales, then I'd move it to its own. Chipotle, ew. Dave, I'm about to ban you, bro. You said Chipotle's ew? You know, everyone always saying about like Chipotle, like, oh, you're going to get salmonella, all that stuff. You know the reason why that happens often at Chipotle is because they use fresh ingredients, and they don't have preservatives. So it's a little more tricky for that, all right? Just kidding. I'm a Chipotle fanboy. Constantine, if you offer lifetime warranty on your product to people that buy and register, would it be against TOS if you create an insert telling people to register somewhere online to be qualified? It is not against TOS. I do that on some of my more expensive products. You should do it too. Dave, giveaways or PPC? Wait, Dave, you're the one who disrespected Chipotle. I don't know if I'm going to answer this. Just kidding. Giveaways or PPC? Plot twist. Both. Ralph, Tim, you're the best. No, you're the best, Ralph. Jeremiah, my product is a very competitive market, lots of sales each day. What is the best way to rank for this kind of situation? Woo, you're going to have to be aggressive, my man. Turn on PPC and do some fatty giveaways. A lot of products. Oh, I'm on the last question. All right. I've been going for over an hour, so this is going to be the last one. About samples. I take product from one supplier and package. I want to take from another one. How would you request your sample ready packaged to get full feeling of my wow product, or not wait and get product samples? Let's see here. Or not wait and get product samples without package ASAP. Let me read this. So if you're getting your samples, I would not request that you need to have your product packaging on your first sample. I would just get the sample, and if that looks good, then make your order. Then making your product packaging is just part of the process as the order comes through. All right, and they can send you pictures. They can send you a sample of that once it's kind of in production. But I wouldn't wait to make your order until then. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Label Masters public group Facebook Live. I'm going to repost this on YouTube. Okay, so if there was anything in this that you liked, don't worry. It's going to be posted on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. If you're interested in learning from me, go to www.privatelabelmasters.com. Check out the free case study. Watch the value video. Fill out the survey, and if you qualify, we'll be in touch. Let's see what the sales are at to end the day off. And it is, we're at 845,000 now at 16,000. I think when I started this, it was at 14,000. So sales are coming in. I'm having a great time with you guys. I'm going to go celebrate National Burrito Day with a phone call to Chipotle to have it delivered. Sorry that one dude was hating on it. Maybe we should give it a shot. All right. Take care, you guys. If you want me to do more videos like this inside the public Facebook group, when I post this on YouTube, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and hit the like button, okay? If I get a ton of likes and a ton of comments, I'm going to do these more often in the public group. I do these every single week in my VIP group, and we have a killer time. We have guys doing some crazy numbers in there. And again, if you want to join us, I'm here for you guys, okay? Hope you guys hit your goals. It is Thursday. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys the next time I jump on one of these. And last thing, all right? I am going to announce, and I'm going to just put this here because I'm going to put this in the YouTube video. The winner of the giveaway of the free course, okay, is going to be this guy, okay? In the YouTube video, I'm going to be pointing to it, okay? And if that's you from the last video, guess what? You get to work with me, okay? Anyways, you guys, take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.